Have you ever seriously thought about what happens when you cross that $1 million mark in your investments? The reality of it, it's not what you see in the movies. It's not about suddenly buying yachts and sports cars. The real change is actually much deeper. It's a massive shift in how money works in your life and honestly, how you see the world.
So let's get right into it. Why is $1 million the so-called magic number? I mean, it sounds kind of arbitrary, right? But there's a really powerful mathematical reason why it changes absolutely everything. And to get why, we've got to first look at the financial reality that most of us are living in right now.
For most people, our financial lives feel a lot like running on a hamster wheel. You know the drill. You work hard, you earn your paycheck, you spend it on bills and life, and then you do it all over again. You're constantly running, trading your precious time just to stay in the exact same spot.
And this slide right here shows you exactly why that is. The typical U.S. household brings in about $83,000 a year, okay? But they spend about $77,000. That tiny gap, that little sliver of what's left over, that's the trap. It's the reason so many of us feel completely stuck, with just not enough breathing room to build any real meaningful momentum.
But here's where it all gets really interesting. There is a point where the math completely flips on its head. This is what we're calling the $1 million tipping point. It's the moment your money finally starts to work way, way harder than you do. So let's break down exactly how that works.
Okay, so let's say you've worked hard, you've saved, and you've managed to invest $100,000. First of all, that is a huge accomplishment. Now let's see what that capital can actually do for you.
So if we assume a pretty conservative 7% annual return, which is right around the historical average for the stock market, that $100,000 is going to generate about $7,000 a year. Now, that's definitely helpful, for sure. That could be an amazing vacation or a big help paying down debt. But let's be real, it's not going to let you quit your job tomorrow. You're still on the hook.
Okay, but now let's apply that very same math to a much bigger pile of money, $1 million. This, my friends, is where the game completely changes.
That same 7% return on $1 million generates around $70,000 a year. That's passive income. That's money that just shows up without you having to trade any of your time for it. Suddenly you have a brand new income stream that's big enough to change your entire life.
Now check this out. This is the real aha moment. When you put those two numbers side by side, your $70,000 in passive income is almost enough to cover the average household's $77,000 in spending. This is it. This is the crucial point. Your investments can now, theoretically, pay all of your bills. You have effectively escaped the hamster wheel.
Getting to this point isn't just a financial thing. It's a massive psychological shift. Your entire relationship with money just transforms. You stop thinking like someone who's just trying to save a few bucks, and you start thinking like an owner of capital.
See, a saver's primary focus is always on earning more, and they tend to get really spooked by market ups and downs. But a capital owner, their focus shifts to allocating their resources in the smartest way possible. They start to see market volatility not as this terrifying threat, but as an opportunity, a chance to buy more assets at a discount because they know their basic needs are already covered.
I love this way of looking at it. Your investments basically become this invisible army of employees. They don't need coffee breaks, they don't ask for holidays, they just work for you around the clock 24/7. And the bigger your portfolio gets, the bigger and more productive that invisible workforce becomes.
So once you have this powerful financial engine working for you in the background, a whole new set of doors just start to swing open. Opportunities that, frankly, just weren't even on the table before.
So first off, you get what's called career optionality. That's a fancy way of saying you can take bigger risks. You can switch careers, start that business you've been dreaming of, all without that constant fear of financial ruin. You also get access to better opportunities. Banks start rolling out the red carpet because you're seen as a low-risk client. And maybe the most important part, the growth of your wealth starts to speed up big time, all thanks to the power of compounding on a much, much larger scale. This is known as the flywheel effect. The best way to think about it is like trying to push one of those massive, heavy wheels, right? Getting it to move at first, that's the hardest part. It's a total grind. That's your first million. But once that wheel is spinning, every single push gets easier, and the wheel just spins faster and faster. That's your second million. It often shows up way, way faster than the first because the whole system is now feeding itself.
But, and this is important, it's not all smooth sailing from here. Reaching this level actually brings a whole new set of anxieties and challenges that most people just do not see coming.
Let's just look at this comparison for a second. A 10% market dip when you've got a $50,000 portfolio, that's a $5,000 loss. It stings for sure, but you'll get over it. But a 10% dip on $1 million, that's a $100,000 loss. Can you imagine seeing that number on your screen? It can be emotionally crushing, even if you know, logically, that the market will probably recover.
And that emotional weight leads to some strange new challenges. A lot of wealthy people find themselves compulsively checking their portfolios, just living with this constant low-level hum of anxiety. Your whole mindset can flip from growth to preservation. You become more terrified of losing what you have than you are excited about gaining more. And weirdly, it can be isolating. Your financial worries are now on a completely different planet for most of your friends and family, and that can be really hard to navigate.
So, if it's not just about getting rich, and it even comes with a whole new set of anxieties, then what's the whole point? Well, the ultimate goal isn't the number in your bank account. It's about what that number gives you, the chance to completely redefine what freedom means in your own life.
The real prize here is this amazing concept called optionality. It's the freedom to make choices based on your personal values and your purpose, not just because you need the paycheck. It is the power to actually design the life you truly want to live.
That constant grinding pressure to earn more money, it just kind of fades away. And it's replaced by a much calmer desire to simply protect what you've built so you can finally focus on what really matters to you, whether that's your family, a creative passion, or your own personal growth.
And this really is the core takeaway of this whole thing. The greatest benefit of building wealth isn't about buying more stuff. It's about buying your freedom. The freedom to live your life without that nagging, persistent, low-grade fear about money that just dominates so many people's lives.
So, at the end of the day, that $1 million milestone isn't a finish line. It's a new starting line. It's the beginning of a life where you have more choice, more intention, and way more control. Your capital can buy your freedom. The only question left is, what are you going to do with it?